Every week we gather, and this is a very precious opportunity. And we use it for group meditation. A meditative mind, a calm mind, can absorb a lot of wisdom. We all know that meditation is a wonderful tool. It is an essential tool. It is a must for one's own peace, happiness, well-being. So again, today's topic will be the continuation from the previous one, life after death. So just to quickly revise, the most important points to understand is there is no death. There is no death for the soul. We have taken hundreds of lifetimes and we have gone through hundreds of dying process. Our soul is eternal. We take lifetimes again and again. Only the body goes away, but the soul remains. The soul is eternal. It is a very interesting topic, a deep topic one has to understand. And what are the benefits when you understand that? So let us discuss that in detail. Okay. First, let me share my screen. So we are made up of 7 bodies. And you can see the physical body is a very small aspect in that. So we have a physical body, we have an etheric body, astral body, mental, causal, buddhic, nirvanic. Some books refer to the buddhic and nirvanic bodies as supracausal bodies. Supra means beyond. Supracausal means beyond causal. So how these 7 bodies are? What you see in the physical eyes is only the physical body. But we have all these bodies. It's like, when you take a glass of water, you add some sugar. The sugar dissolves in the water. Again, you add salt. Again, the salt also dissolves. So what happened to the sugar is, in the water, there is a lot of empty space. The water molecules have a lot of empty space. So the sugar molecules take up the empty space in the water molecule. Again, you add salt. The salt molecules take up the empty space in the water molecule. That's why it dissolves in the water. And the water doesn't overflow. Just because you're adding sugar, it doesn't overflow because it takes up the empty space. Similarly, all these bodies are within us. With the physical eyes, you can see only the physical body. When you have a spiritual eye, you can see all the other bodies. So each new reincarnation, we take a new mental body, a new astral body, a new etheric body, and a new physical bodies. Like, at the time of going to school, you're joining a new school, or you have graduated from one grade to another grade. So in the beginning, the first day of the school, carry a new uniform, you wear a new uniform, new bag, new books, instead of textbooks, everything new. So similarly, each lifetime you incarnate to the earth, you come with a new mental body, a new astral body, new etheric body, new physical body. Your causal body is the same, it doesn't change. That is a permanent home. Right? These are the outer layers. So every incarnation, we take up the new, and while going back, we drop one by one. Like during the time of the physical death, we drop the physical body and the etheric body. Then we go to the astral worlds. When we go to the astral worlds, we are in the astral body. And we live for some time, and then we go through the astral death. Now, then we are in the mental body, then we live in mental worlds for a certain number of time. And then we go through the mental death. And finally, we go to the causal worlds, which is our permanent home for the soul. So each incarnation, each reincarnation, we go through three deaths: physical death, astral death, and mental death. So death and its transition. So if it is a natural death, then the soul somehow knew that it is fast approaching, the time is fast approaching to leave. For an evolved soul, they precisely know when it is, especially the yogis who have done a lot of sadhana. They exactly know the date and the time they're going to vacate the body. But if you have a good-hearted soul, you have done a lot of good karmas, then you will know at least a few weeks or few months before. You'll know. But if you are a baby soul, you will have some hints that you are going to leave, but you are not able to grasp it. But an evolved soul can grasp it. And a very highly evolved soul can precisely know what date and what time. And because the highly evolved soul knows there is no death, so they happily, with a smile on their face, they vacate the body. Now, there's another kind of sudden death where it is unexpected, like an accident, or sometimes some kind of traumatic terminal illness, and soul is not prepared to leave this body. So this is where the knowledge of the life after death and the process of the death really helps. Okay. And the third category is suicide. It's a very immature act. Suicide is the only failure in the soul evolution. In the soul's evolution, whatever might be the wrongdoings, whatever might be the bad karmas, whatever might be the failures, still it is a progress from the soul perspective. In the soul evolution, every experience adds up to the soul learning process. Even if it is a very traumatic event, bad event, a failure life, still from the soul perspective, it is a great success. Except suicide. Suicide is a very immature act. And it is like you are going against the very creation. You are going against the very God's will. You have planned a certain lifetime. You have planned certain challenges. And you are going against the very creation that you are throwing your life away. So it's a very immature act. And people who don't understand the process, the life process, and people who don't have the courage, they normally tend to go through the suicides thinking that, okay, if I commit suicide, all my problems will be solved. I'm going through a lot of problems. I cannot take up this. I cannot handle this problem. So better I finish my lifetime. So this will be the thought process for a person who is having suicidal thoughts. But what they fail to understand is whatever the challenges you have, the same challenges will be there in the next incarnation. If not more, greater challenges will be there. First of all, the challenges will increase. After every soul, after committing suicide, every soul, they regret. They regret the process. Because once they commit suicide, they will realize that they have completely done a stupid act. But now it is too late. They cannot come back to the body. And they really regret the process. And later on, they have the karmic baggage of the suicide hanging So that means in the next subsequent incarnations, they have the repetitive suicidal thoughts because it's a baggage, it's a karmic baggage because they have gone against the creation, they've gone against the divine will. So they have to learn the lesson at, at any cost, at any instance, at whatever might be the situation, they should never commit suicide. So that becomes a karmic baggage to learn that lesson. So they will be tempted to commit suicides again and again, the subsequent lifetimes. And they have to have a lot of courage, they have to have a lot of spiritual sadhana to overcome it. So it becomes like a karmic baggage. And also, for whatever the challenges they have committed the suicide, same challenge, if not more challenge, will repeat in the subsequent lifetimes. So, if at all we come across people who have suicidal thoughts, we should discourage them. We should explain them the soul evolution process. We should explain that life is here to learn, life is here to handle in a responsible way, in a delicate way. And Earth is like a school. It is not our home. We are going to go back home one day. Whether you like it or not, everybody is going to go back home. Nobody is going to be here permanent. So we should encourage the people who have suicidal thoughts to let go of the suicidal thoughts and give them the law of karma or the science of meditation teachings and encourage them not to think in that direction. Because this is the only failure. Suicide is the only failure, the soul evolution. And during the time of death, is the moment of death, we have been separated from our body. And we need to remember who we are and where we are going to do and how to get there. So a very basic understanding of life and its journey is necessary for us to pass through the astral worlds so that we are no more stuck in the lower astral worlds. So that is one of the reasons why it is important to understand about the death and the life after death process. Now, let us discuss briefly about earthbound souls. So mostly people who commit suicides with a lot of traumatic things, if they are not spiritually evolved, then they become earthbound, which we normally call them as ghosts or entities, which feed on others' energies to survive in the lower astral planes. So we don't need to be scared about them because they are stuck. They are neither completely in the physical world nor they are totally in the higher astral worlds. They are stuck in between because of the lack of understanding, because of the lack of clarity of life. So they are normally powerless. Sometimes in the movies they portray that they have a lot of power to hurt or harm. Normally they don't. They don't have any power. They can do certain mischief. For example, if you are having certain lower emotions, okay, so they try to take advantage of it and they try to play mischief or they try to hook onto you so that they keep sucking your energies. So if you are a meditator, so the point to understand is if you are a meditator, then no lower frequency beings can even come near you. Even if they try to come, they cannot hook onto you. So, but if you are having fear, guilt, or if you are addicted to drugs, if you're addicted to alcohol or sex or whatever, so then when you have these addictions, then you become an open invitation to all these kinds of entities. So when you are strong, when you are not stuck in the lower emotions, then these lower frequency beings cannot even come near you. So these earthbound souls, they hover around the lower astral plane, a very dense area. Sometimes what the scriptures refer to as hell is the lower astral planes. So they have very strong attachment to the physical life, objects, desires, and they're the people who are unable to accept death, the people who commit suicide, and the people who go through sudden death, but they don't have the clarity, and they think the earth is the only reality, and they hook on to that because of their own fears or guilt or attachments. So these are the beings who get stuck in the lower astral planes. But again, in the astral worlds, there are a lot of teachers, there are a lot of astral masters who uh, who are willing to help them to move on. But if these souls are not willing to listen, these souls are not willing to let go of the attachments, if these souls are not willing to let go of their guilt, then they take much longer time. Sometimes they take hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Because in the astral world, there is no time. There is no time and there is no space. So they spend hundreds and hundreds of years from our earth plane timeline. So why it is important to know about the death process? Point number one, to understand that there is no death for the soul. Only we drop our physical bodies. Like, we wear our clothes. Once the clothes gets old, we throw away the old clothes and we get a new clothes. Similarly, we discard the old body and we get a new body. So the fact and the truth, there is no death for the soul, has to be, integrated. So the more you integrate this truth that there is no death, the more you help yourself not to get stuck in the lower astral planes. Okay. And this is the first and the foremost point. And the second point is, you have to understand that the emotions like, fear, guilt, especially guilt. When you have guilt during the time of death, you lived your whole life with a lot of guilt. Naturally, during the time of death, you will have a lot of guilt. And because of your own guilt, you will get stuck in the lower astral worlds. Your own guilt energy makes you spend more and more time the lower astral worlds, which in other words is called hell. So it is very important that you understand that there is no need to have guilt. Guilt, every time you feel guilty, you are making a fresh blunder. Okay. Regret, too much of a regret is again a fresh blunder. You regret for some mistakes and you learn from the mistakes and you move on. That is okay. But you are regretting too much of a regret leads to guilt consciousness. And this guilt consciousness is the consciousness that you feel that, you have made a mistake, you have made a sin, and you cannot forgive yourself. So this energy traps you into the lower emotion, because the astral worlds are emotional worlds. Your emotions are very powerful. Whatever the emotions you have, whatever the desires you have while you are in the physical body, the moment you go to the astral world, it gets multiplied. So your emotions gets multiplied, your guilt gets multiplied, your attachments gets multiplied, your desires gets multiplied. So that is how you get stuck there, right? And let me quote some examples. For example, a person has constructed a house with a lot of efforts, with all his lifetime of savings. Then suddenly he vacated the body. Now he is too attached to the house. He is too attached to the wife or husband or children. So he is not ready to move on. So what happens? He becomes an earthbound soul. So he becomes an earthbound soul and he keeps wandering around the house. So that is why it is very, very important to give a farewell. Okay, so this topic will continue in the next coming week as well. But it is very important to understand the nitty-gritties of it. If you keep weeping or you keep crying for the departed ones, so then the departed ones also doesn't have, they are stuck, because your emotions makes them to get stuck in the lower astral worlds. They are neither here fully, they are neither there. So they are in between. So that's why it is very important to understand there is a life after death. There is an astral life. There is a life in the astral worlds. There is life in the mental worlds. And then we go back home. And then we come back again with a new physical body, with a new astral body, with a new mental body. So it is very important to give a farewell. Okay. So when the loved ones are ready to give a farewell, when the loved ones are ready to be detached, it helps the departed soul to move quickly from the lower astral worlds to the higher astral worlds. Okay. So that's why uh, it is good to have their memories, but the memories should not be in the with the lower emotional memories. Memories should be like happy memories, but okay, fine. We'll see you on the other side. It's time to go. It's time to go. We'll see you on the other side. Because everybody is going to go sooner or later. So weeping for a person who has, of course, yes, there are a lot of emotions involved. Our loved ones, we are not prepared for the departure. Suddenly they have departed. Most of the time, people are not uh, prepared for it. But this spiritual knowledge helps them. Okay. The spiritual knowledge really helps them to give a farewell. And knowing about the death and the life after death helps not only us, but also the people around us, because we will be able to give a certain counseling. Even though they are on the deathbed, we can still speak the words of the truth, because the words of the truth will impact the soul. Right? So when you speak the truth, even though the person who is vacating is not ready, these words of truth will give him the courage to vacate the body peacefully. I can quote some examples. Before I came into meditation, before I came into spirituality, I used to give certain positive suggestions and counseling towards the people who are about to die. But after I came into the spiritual path, I understood complete process. And so I used to gently go and speak to the people who are in ICU or who are about to die, but they are not prepared to die. So they are in the hospital for 1 week, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They are suffering and their loved ones are suffering and the hospital bills are going up. So it's a problem for everybody, because it is the physical body is no more healthy to stay on, but they are not willing to go. So this is the situation. So those were the times I went and I spoke to them, even though they're not responding, they're just in a semi unconscious state. I used to go and tell them that, nothing will happen to you. Your loved ones are waiting on the other side. Right? You go on and you have lived a great life on the planet Earth. Now it is time to move on. So whatever you have done your best. Right? You have done your best. We all love you. We'll see you on the other side. So now it is time to go. So these kind of words, these are the words of the truth. It's not positive words. These are the words of the truth. So when you speak the words of the truth, that there is no death and you are an eternal being, okay, so you will come back again and we will meet on the other side. So these are the words which will really give them the courage to move on to the higher astral worlds and they continue their journey. And also meditating in the house when somebody is sick, when you knew that when they're about the time has come. So you meditating in that house, that meditation energy also helps them to move on. Okay? And it is a wonderful process. Actually, the birthing process is more tedious, more traumatic. The process of death is very simple. It's just like, you are dropping a heavy baggage. You just drop a head. You are carrying the baggage on top of your head for so many years, and suddenly you drop. How relaxed you feel. When you read books, near-death experience books, there are a lot of books. There are a lot of case studies, especially mainly from the Western authors. I will give the list of recommended books later on towards the end of the session. But when you read this near-death experience books, they all describe the death process. Like once they vacate the body, they feel this light full of love, and they don't want to come back to the body actually, because it's so much of love, it's so much of light, and they feel complete there, and they don't want to come back. So the astral masters there, they counsel them, no, it is time for you to go back. So go back to the body. It's not your time yet. So near-death experiences means they have prematurely left the body for few minutes, but it's not the time for them to vacate the body. So again, after a few minutes, they come back to the body. And in most of the cases, in almost all the cases, uh, people who have very chronic illness like cancer or other kinds of very terminal illness, when they had this near death experience, so when they went to the other side, they are able to see crystal clear that it is their emotions, which is the frozen emotions, the trapped emotions. It is the guilt, it is the attachment, it is the fear which is responsible for their cancer, or it is responsible for their illness. So they are able to perceive that when they go to the other side briefly for a few minutes. So when they come back, they really work on their emotions, and you will be surprised the cancer is no more there. They completely got healed without any medications, without any doctor's support, just by working on their emotions, just letting go of the attachments. And also, you will also understand the priorities, because you have experienced death. Because the near death people, the people who have experienced near death, now they have experienced the truth that the other side is beautiful. It is a true home. So they don't waste time here. They prioritize the things. So they don't waste time on the planet Earth unnecessarily for for the things which are not of trivial importance. So they focus on the things which are of priority. So where there is a clarity in life, there is prayer. The priorities comes from clarity. When you don't have clarity, you don't know what is priority in your life. So when you have clarity, you know what is priority. For example, when you have clarity about life, then your first priority is meditation. Your second priority is reading books. Your third priority is Sajjana Sangati. Then comes the other priorities in life. You will give first priority to Swadharma, and the Paradharma comes number 2. But for a person who don't have the clarity, they spend the whole life taking care of others, serving others, fulfilling the expectations of others, fulfilling the expectations of the husband, of the wife, of the children, of the society. So they live their whole life to fulfill others' expectations. They live their whole life doing the service to others, but they are doing a great disservice to themselves. Okay. So it is very important that you need to have priority. So priorities first comes first. What comes first? You come first. So taking care of you is the first priority. You meditate for 1 hour, then you take care of your children, take care of your husband, take care of your wife. That is the correct order. That is the correct priority. Okay. You take care of your health first, then you serve others. So this is the right priority. If you are not taking care of yourself, then when you vacate the body, you regret. There will be a great regret that you have wasted the lifetime. So you have to take one more lifetime. Okay. So what happens? You go to school, you fail a subject, you have to repeat the subject. You have to repeat the grade, you have to repeat the class again until you pass. Okay. Spiritual science helps you to give clarity. With the clarity, you get priority. Now there are many questions which comes. I think some of them has also sent some questions through WhatsApp and email. So the very common question is, what happens with a sudden death? A loved one, a family member, a father, a mother, or a child goes through a sudden death. What will happen to them? Will they be safe? In which worlds they are in? What they are doing? See, this is a very natural concern everybody has. If you are really sincere to know the answers, you become a sincere meditator. The more you sincerely meditate every day, the more you will be able to see metaphysical things. The more you will be able to see beyond physical. The more you will be able to see that your father, your mother, or your child is happy in the astral worlds. They are carrying on in their life. Only you are concerned. They are not concerned. They happily moved on. So there is a There is a story in it's in Mahabharata. Okay, Arjuna was very sad and he was weeping because his son Abhimanyu has died in the battle, and so Arjuna cannot take it. So he was continuously weeping, and he he went to Krishna and said, "Krishna, it is all because of you. Because of you only my son has died. You could have somehow saved my son, but you deliberately let him die. So it is all because of you." So he was holding Krishna's collar, and then he was, I need justice. And he's the same person who heard directly Bhagavad Gita one to one from Krishna. Okay. See, whatever might be the spiritual theoretical knowledge you have, during the time of death, it's of not great use. Theoretically, you might have read many books about death and life after death and near death. You might have read many books, but if you have not done sadhana, if you have not done meditation, it is of not of great use. Okay, so the classic case is Arjuna, who heard the Bhagavad Gita, the highest truth, the absolute truth from Krishna directly. But after his son died, his son Abhimanyu died, he was in great sorrow. He was in tears and he was fighting with Krishna that you killed my son. It's because of you. And he said, I want to meet my son right now. I don't know what you do. Then Krishna said, okay, enough of your drama. I'll take you. It's getting too much. Okay, I'll take you to your son. So Krishna takes Arjuna to the astral worlds to meet Abhimanyu. So then when Krishna took Arjuna to the astral worlds, so Arjuna saw his son, and his son is having a glorious life in the astral worlds. So he saw from the distance, Abhimanyu recognized that Arjuna has come, visited the astral worlds. So he went and he hugged. Arjuna went and hugged Abhimanyu, said, oh son, how are you? I'm missing you. Come, let's go back. Then Abhimanyu said, don't waste my time. I have a lot of other commitments here. So don't waste my time. It's good to see you, but I have my other priorities. Tata, bye. And he left. So he didn't even spend few seconds. So Arjuna was in total shock. It is because of the ignorance of Arjuna he suffered. But Abhimanyu is much more spiritually enlightened than Arjuna. So that's why he's willing to move forward in this higher journey. And he's in the higher worlds, there is no attachments. All the bandha is destroyed in the earthly worlds. Like, the father, mother, son, all these are Maya. In the higher worlds, there is no relationships. In the higher worlds, there is only friendship. So if you are a spiritually aware person, you will realize that and you will consciously make every relationship into friendship. While you play the role of a perfect father, while you play the role of a perfect mother, while you play the role of a perfect son or a daughter, you play these roles, but know that it is drama. Play the roles and have friendship. With all your relationships, you have friendship. While you are playing the role, the core is friendship. Okay. So, life after death. If you are a meditator, you will be able to perceive that there is life after death. And with that perception, you will understand that, okay, if I'm too much attached, then I will suffer later on. Or if I'm having guilt, then again, I will suffer later on. So if I'm having too much fear, again, I will suffer later on. Even after death, I have to suffer. So it's better I work on it while I am in the physical body. Okay. So if you are a thief, or if you are a liar, or if you are a cheater, the death doesn't make you an angel. You will be the same person after death with the same qualities. And the next lifetime you will be born, again you will be having the same qualities. So if you are a thief, or a cheater or a liar. Just because you have died, it doesn't make you an angel. You will be the same person. What kind of qualities you have before death, it will be the same qualities you will have after death. And again, in the next incarnation, you will be born with the same qualities. And as long as you are having this lower vibrational emotions, as long as you have this lower vibrational frequency qualities, you will be stuck in the lower astral worlds again and again in the every lifetime. When I say stuck, what does that mean is you will not be able to experience the higher astral worlds. You will be not able to enjoy the higher astral worlds. The higher astral worlds are for enjoyment. The higher astral worlds are for celebration. The higher astral worlds are for greater learning. And then if you're not spiritually developed, then you cannot spend much time in the mental worlds. You'll spend very little time in the mental worlds because you are not spiritually developed. But when you have a lot of spiritual development, when you have a certain discipline, then you will go through a greater learning in the mental worlds, in the higher astral worlds. Right? So not only you will learn on the earth, you will learn on the astral planes. A lot of learning happens in the astral planes also. But those learnings in the astral planes are happy learnings because you are not so much engrossed. Physical is a dense world. So you are not so much engrossed. You are lightweight there. So when you're lightweight there, then it is you quickly learn a lot of lessons. Okay. And another common question. So coming back to the previous question, the conclusion is there are a lot of astral masters. There is a specialized team. There is a specialized department who will take care of the people who have vacated their bodies. So you don't need to be concerned about your family members, your friends, your loved ones. You don't need to be concerned about them because there is a specialized team, astral masters, spirit guides. They look after the transition process. What you can do is don't be attached to them. Don't be clingy towards them. Give them a farewell. That helps them to move on. Or do more meditation. The more you meditate, the more you will be able to communicate with them through your intent. You can communicate with them saying, okay, time to move on. So the only help you can do, the only real help you can do for the departed ones is do more meditation and let go of all their attachments. That will help them. Okay. And the other question, which is like a frequent question, is which relates to the soul lessons. Okay, what if I don't learn all my soul lessons? How do I know that whether I've learned fully my soul lessons, whether I lived my life purpose or not? Okay, so it is very simple. Every soul plans a certain lessons before birth. Most of them, they don't complete the plan. Suppose you have planned for 10 lessons. You might complete 5, 6, 7. There will be still some pending. And again, you have to take another lifetime for completing the pending ones. This is how normally it happens for a normal person. But if you are a person with awareness, if you are a person with a meditative qualities, you are not wasting your time, right? You are utilizing the time properly and you have prioritized your life and there is a certain clarity. Then you have taken 10 lessons to learn. You will finish quickly all the 10 lessons and automatically you will take more lessons from the Sanchita Karma. So you have planned originally for 10 lifetimes, but you learned 20. You have planned originally for 10 lessons, but you learned 20 lessons. You learned 30 lessons because of your own spiritual sadhana, because of your own meditation, because of your own service, because of your own clarity. So meditation is the only thing which will guide you. What is your soul lesson? Okay, nobody can tell you what is your soul lesson. Sometimes people ask, how do I know what is my soul lesson? Nobody can tell you what is your soul lesson. Only you yourself can identify, only you yourself can learn. So how can you learn that? Whatever the challenges which comes in your life, you accept it and learn from it and move on. There is something very important I want you to note down. As long as there is no complaints, as long as there is no complaints, as long as there is no comparison, and as long as there is no guilt, you are 100% learning your lesson. When there is no complaints, when there is no comparison, and there is no guilt, three things. When there, in any situation, no complaints, in any situation, no comparison, in any situation, no feeling guilt. When you follow these three things, then you are bound to learn your lessons. Okay. When you have no complaints, when you have no comparisons, when there is no guilt, naturally the acceptance comes. So with the very acceptance, you will be able to perceive what is the lesson to learn. You will have the ability to see the lessons. You will have the ability to understand the lessons. Okay. So that's why when you are not complaining on others, because it is, see, the very concept of complain, because you're not accepting the situation, you're not accepting people. You're not accepting people, you're not accepting the situation, you are frustrated with them. Because you don't understand the bigger picture of life. This particular challenge, this particular situation, you have planned it. You have created that reality. It is your own karmic consequences. You have sown the seed few lifetimes ago. Now the seeds are sprouting. You have created it. So who do you complain? This is the great teaching of Jesus Christ. As you sow, so you reap. As you sow, so you reap. Whatever you have reaped, whatever is your current situation, is sown by you. If not in this lifetime, it might be in your past life. So don't complain. Just focus on the lessons. Because it has come back to you. What you have done has come back to you so that you can learn from it. It has not come back to you as a punishment. It has come back to you so that you can learn from it. Okay, it is a feedback system. You had certain bad thoughts. You have spoken something bad, and something bad has happened. So it is feedback. So learn from it and learn not to think bad. So you have grown out of the situation. So from every challenging situation, you grow. Okay. But if you keep complaining, then there is no growth. If you keep comparison, again, every individual is unique. No two people on the earth are the same. There is nobody like you ever before you, and there will be nobody like you after ever. So you are so unique. Only one piece available in the entire creation. If it is only one available in the entire creation, how precious it is. It is the most precious. When you realize that you are the most precious, then where is the place for comparison? So just with this understanding, the comparison goes away. Okay. And no need to feel guilt. Why there is no need to feel guilt? Because every soul, every human learn from the mistakes. There is nobody who became enlightened without doing any mistakes. There is no doctor who has become a perfect doctor without making mistakes. There is no teacher who has become a great teacher without making mistakes. Everybody learns from their mistakes, and that is how they become perfect. When you learn from the mistakes, you become a perfect person. When you regret your mistake, when you feel guilty about the mistake, then you don't become perfect. Okay, you are unnecessarily drowning yourself. Guilt is a poison to your soul. Anytime you feel guilty, you are poisoning your own soul. So no need to feel guilty. And again, no need to have too much of a regret. Yes, some minimum regret to learn the lessons. That regret is to learn the lessons. That minimum regret is fine. You've done a mistake, you regret it, You learn from the lessons and move on. Learn from the mistakes and move on. That much is allowed. But too much of a regret leads you to feeling guilty. Whatever the mistake, is fine. Learn from it, move on. You might repeat the mistake twice or thrice. Still, it is okay. Whether you are making your best efforts not to repeat the mistake, that matters. Your intention matters. Are you doing your best? That matters. Do your best and move on. No need to feel guilty. The reason why am I stressing this not to feel guilty is if you feel guilty, then after you vacate the body, because of your guilt, you will go to the lower astral worlds. The lower astral worlds are nothing but hell. Your own guilt multiplies there because the astral worlds, whatever is your emotions, whatever is your desires, and whatever is your feelings, it multiplies. So your guilt feeling multiplies and you will create a hell around yourself after death. So that is why it is very important you don't feel guilty, and at the same time, you don't make others feel guilty. Okay. If somebody has done a mistake, you just forgive them and move on. Don't make them feel guilty by repeatedly nagging at them that you have done a mistake, you have done a mistake. No. Don't make others feel guilty. You can help others to learn, but don't make them guilty. Okay. So this is very, very important because this guilt energy really holds you back into the lower astral worlds. And another a common question what people ask is like, should I do any rituals? Right? Should I chant any mantras? Suppose if you're coming from a Buddhist background, then the Buddhist culture, they chant certain mantras after death, after somebody vacated the body. So should we chant any mantras? Or in certain traditions, certain cultures in India, they do certain rituals, like the 3rd day ritual, 10th day ritual, 15th day ritual, and some rituals even do animal sacrifice. So a lot of things in certain Chinese culture, every year there is a day where they burn paper money, right? They burn paper currency, they burn paper cars, they burn paper houses, so that they feel that this will reach this money, this paper money, what they are burning, it's a fake money. So the fake money, what they are burning, will reach to the higher worlds and it will help them there. So this is not the right understanding, because the lower cannot help the higher. The lower cannot help. You are in the lower worlds. You are in the physical world. And the astral world is a higher world. Compared to the physical world, astral worlds have higher frequencies. So the lower cannot help the higher. But in what way you can support them is when you understand that there is no death. And when you let go of the attachments, and when you let go of the emotional entanglement, that really helps them. Sometimes, people are emotionally entangled, especially, the most of the entanglement, it can be with father, son, but most of the entanglements are always with mother and daughter, right? Or mother and son. A lot of emotional entanglement is there. So they are enmeshed. That means their happiness is enmeshed with the other person's happiness. If the other person is happy, they are happy. They don't have their own choices. They don't live an independent life. They don't live an autonomous life. Their life is so intertwined with the other person that they are enmeshed. They are emotionally enmeshed. So these kind of people who are in this enmeshed, emotionally enmeshed relationships, it can be any relationship. You have to be very careful, because if one person vacates the body, then the other person also has the programming to vacate. What am I going to do on the earth? Without that person, there is no point of living. Better I also die. So they subconsciously program their own death. So when you are having that kind of emotional attachments, you cannot go to the higher astral worlds. Again, you will be stuck in the lower astral worlds. So the practice of detachment is very, very important. And while you are alive in the physical body, it is important you practice detachment. The practice of detachment is very simple. You know that whatever you see in the physical is Maya. There is no permanent things here. There is nothing permanent here. Everything is temporary. The physical world is full of illusion, is full of Maya. There is no permanency. There is nothing permanent here. Everything is changing. The seasons come, the summer comes, the winter goes, the summer goes, the winter comes, the winter goes, the rainy comes. The seasons change, people change, the places change, everything changes. And mind, you see, the mind is again is not stable. Every moment the mind is changing. Your own mind is changing every moment. Your own likes and dislikes are changing every moment. So change is inevitable. This is a world of Maya. So when you understand that this is a world of Maya, then it helps them. It helps you to detach. Detachment simply means you recognize this is Maya. That's all. You don't need to make any special programming to detach. You understand that this is not your home. Your home is in the causal worlds. You have come temporarily to learn some lessons, and you are going to go back. Each one of us has come to this earth plane with an expiry date. When the time comes, we all have to go back. When you understand that we all have come with an expiry date, we all have a limited time here on the planet Earth. And the most important is we have come here for a purpose. We have not come here to get entangled. We have not come here to become attached to the house, to the car, to the property, to the people. We have not come here to get attached. We have come here with a very specific mission, with a very specific purpose. And once we finish our mission and purpose, we will go back home. You know, with this understanding helps you to be detached. It is just that you have lived for a longer time here and you have forgotten your home. But death is, your physical death is inevitable and you have to go back home. It is like this, you take this situation where a schoolboy, he is happy at home with the father's love, mother's love, and he's playing in the garden, he's playing with the pets, and his mother is cooking whatever he wants, and he is such a lovable child, adorable child, loved by everybody. And the child doesn't want to go to school because the child says, "Oh, home is very nice. I don't want to leave my pets. I don't want to leave my mother. I don't want to go to any place. I'm very comfortable here. I don't want." Then the parents will motivate them. No, no, no. You have to go to the school. It is very important. You go to the school only for half a day, and then you come back and again play with the little Tommy, and you can play with your sister. You can play with your brother. You can play with all the toys. Just go for some time, and there'll be a lot of new things you will learn there. Your teacher will teach you songs and rhymes and music, and then you can play with your fellow friends, and again you will come back home. So every day you motivate the child to go to school. So the child knows that, okay, I'm going to school 9 o'clock in the morning, but I'm going to come 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the evening. And again, I'm going to play with all my friends, all my neighbors, and all my siblings. And I'm going to have a quality time with my parents. But imagine the child goes to the school and the child forgets home and the child doesn't want to go back home. Can you imagine a situation? There is this annual leave. You complete the whole year. Then there is an annual leave, vacation, 2 months, 2 months of vacation, annual leave. No homework, nothing, just go summer holidays, enjoy. The child says, no, 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 I don't want summer holidays. I don't want vacation. I want to stay back in the school only. You cannot imagine that kind of a child. It is the same thing what humans are doing if they don't understand that they don't want to go back home, but rather want to get stuck here. Right? So our true home is Always, it's such a wonderful, amazing, blissful place. So when you realize the fact that we're all temporary beings who have come for a specific mission to learn some lessons, go back. Our friends, our soul friends are waiting there. Our soul friends, our soul clan, our soul family is waiting there for us to celebrate with us. Okay. So when you understand this, then you are ready to depart anytime. And again, it gives you a certain detachment. It might be difficult to perceive or understand, but when you practice meditation, it becomes easier. With the theoretical knowledge, it is still difficult because theoretical knowledge motivates you to meditate. The theoretical knowledge motivates you to understand. See, there is a difference between knowledge and wisdom. I want you to clearly understand this. Knowledge is theoretical information. Wisdom is your practical experience. We all have third eye. In meditation, your third eye gets activated. But we also have wisdom eye, the fourth eye. Only meditation, your third eye is activated. Only with meditation, you are still in a certain maya. But along with meditation, you add swadhyaya and sajjana sangatya, then your spiritual eye opens, your fourth eye opens. If your third eye becomes activated and your third eye becomes perfected, you have to take birth again. You have to come back again. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Unless your fourth eye activates, unless your fourth eye becomes perfected, unless your spiritual eye becomes perfected, that becomes your last lifetime. There is so much to learn. Even after enlightenment, there is so much to learn. There is enlightenment after enlightenment. So, Earth, no doubt, is a wonderful place. It's a beautiful school. Come, you learn as many lessons as possible. And then, once you finish your lessons, you go back, you assimilate, you consolidate, again you come back. So, it is very important. The steps are very simple. You learn the lesson. That is the first step. Learn the lesson. The second step is consolidate. And then you move on to the next lesson. Learn the lesson, consolidate it. Consolidate means integrate it, make it part of you. Then go to the next lesson. Okay. Theoretically, you are learning many lessons that will make you spiritually confused. Sometimes people say that before meditation, I had a certain peace. After coming into this spiritual path, I've been listening to so many YouTube videos and I've been listening to so many experiences of other masters, and now I'm confused. You are confused because you have not yet consolidated. You have only gathered theoretical knowledge. You have not practiced. You have not did your sadhana and you have not consolidated. And you didn't learn the lesson. Slow and steady wins the race. You have to underline this. Always slow and steady. Slow, and you have to slow down yourself and you have to steady yourself. This is consolidation. You slow down yourself, steady yourself, and then you move on. That is how you win this race. If you are greedy, some people are greedy. They want to learn all the things. They want to learn many, many spiritual topics from this master to that master to that master. All the time they are in YouTube. Then you will eventually become confused. You are a spiritually confused person. So it is very, very important that you have to slow down. How do you slow down? Practice mauna. The more you practice mauna, the more you practice silence, the more you slow down. The more you practice meditation, the more you slow down. The practice of meditation and the practice of mauna will slow you down. And reading spiritual books, listening to masters, and sharing your experiences and listening from others' experiences and learning from others' experiences. That means when you listen to somebody's experience, you have to absorb the essence of that experience. So the more you participate in Swadhyayam and Sajjana Sangatyam, the more you are steadying yourself. So that is how you take this grand journey forward. So if you are confused, that means something is not right. That means you are not practicing it. Don't be a garbage collector. The garbage collector collects the garbage. But the greedy person who wants to learn everything in one go, he's simply collecting the knowledge, the information he is collecting from one person to another person to another person, from one master to another master to another master, from one book to another book to another book. So he's simply collecting spiritual garbage. The knowledge, what you have acquired, if it is not consolidated, it becomes a garbage for you. So now again, this topic is very important. Life after death. So just because you have read some books, it doesn't mean that you have understood everything. When you meditate, when you really meditate, you will experience death. Your astral body comes out. When your astral body comes out, practically you will experience that, hey, actually, I am alive. I've come out of my body. I can see my body meditating. I can see my body sitting in meditation. But I'm outside my body. I can perceive 360 degrees. I can see so many things. I'm not in the body, but still I'm alive. Nothing has happened to me. So actually, there is no death. So that is your real experience of no death. So only your meditation gives you the real knowledge of no death. Then what happens? Once for all, you will lose the fear of death. This is the greatest fear. The fear of death is the greatest fear. And if you lose that fear because of your own experience, you have lost the fear of death, then your life is full of celebration. You are not celebrating the life because of your fear. It is your own fear which is stopping you from your celebration. You have to underline this point. It is your own fear which is stopping you from celebrating life. So once you have let go of the fear of death, then all the other fears slowly collapses like a pack of cards. Because the greatest fear is the fear of death, and you have overcome that fear, then other fears are just nothing. Everything starts collapsing like a pack of cards, and you will start celebrating life. And you will become a great yogi, a living householder yogi. A yogi doesn't mean who is sitting in Himalayas. There are people who are householders. They can be yogis also. There are many people who are living a householder life, but they are living a yogi life because they have clarity in life, they have priority in life, and whatever they learn, they consolidate. They live a practical life. Practical spirituality is the key for liberation. You underline that point. Practical spirituality is the key for your own liberation. Theoretical spirituality is the motivation for practical spirituality. Okay. So on this note, we'll conclude this session. Tomorrow, the next week, the next Sunday, we will take any questions. If you have questions, we'll take up it. And there's still more details to be understood. If you ask the right question, you will have the right understanding. You will have the right answers. If you ask a stupid question, then you will not have the right understanding. So make sure you ask the right question. What is the right question? The definition of a right question is very simple. The right question is a question which helps you to be a better person. The right question is a question which helps you to clear your confusion. The right question is a question which gives you more clarity. The right question is a question which helps you and also helps others. So this is the right question. So ask the right questions. The next weekend, we will further go through certain topics. Maybe I will take you in depth about the 7 levels of the astral worlds. Like what kind of people will go to what levels. There are 7 sub levels in the astral world. and then there is a mental world. So maybe in the next week I will take you in detail about the different astral levels, the different mental levels and causal levels, and what kind of people, what qualities of people go to which level, and how you can help yourself. Uh, Maybe that I'll take in detail next week, and along with that, I'll take some questions. On this note, thank you very much. So we have Vijay Dasami was yesterday. Navaratri festival has just concluded. So this is festival season. After this, the Diwali comes, the Christmas comes, the New Year comes. From this day, I want all of you to make a sacred promise that from today onwards, I will be sincere, at least till the New Year, and I will see what really changes within me. This is practical spirituality. Every day I will meditate 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the night. Now we are almost in the mid of October. So only 2.5 months, 75 days. So take up this challenge. And there's also a retreat season in the Agasthiyar Ashram. We are doing back-to-back retreats. 15th, we are doing another retreat. And the end of the month, we are doing a retreat for Vietnamese. And November, we are doing a retreat. December, we are doing a retreat. So the ashram is full of retreat vibes, intense meditation vibes, silence vibes. And in the month of January, we are planning a trip to Egypt. Okay, so it's a very small group I'm planning to take. So the significance again, the Egypt trip, because we have a Great Pyramid there. And the Great Pyramid is built by the Atlanteans. So they are beings from the other dimension. They have come and supported in the building process. They have used their own soul energy to cut the huge rocks. It's almost like 70 tons each rock. It's a great wonder, one of the wonders of the world. And they have built the pyramid. The Great Pyramid in Giza is built for spiritual activation. Is meant for spiritual sadhana. And also it is written in the history that Jesus Christ was initiated into meditation in the King's Chamber, Giza Pyramid. And there are many masters who have done meditation in the Giza Pyramid. Like there are many yogis who will sit here and meditate, and their astral body will go to the King's Chamber in Giza Pyramid, and the astral body will meditate in the King's Chamber. So it's a lot of it's a mystical place. So we'll go there and meditate. And also Egypt has a very unique culture. We'll have a Nile cruise. It is a holiday. It is a spiritual holiday. Okay, I'm not promising any enlightenment. There is no airy fairy things I'm saying. It is an opportunity for the like-minded people. It is an opportunity for the spiritually like-minded people to go, so that every day there will be meditation and every day there will be Sajjana Sangatyam. And we have an opportunity to meditate in the King's Chamber, and we have an opportunity to see the Egyptian culture. And also we'll go to many temples. These temples are built thousands and thousands of years ago. And these temples are built for spiritual awakening. So we'll be visiting many temples there. And so our focus will be meditation and Sajjana Sangatyam. Along with it, enjoying the beauty of Egypt and the Nile River. So very few seats are there. And I think the details of the Egypt trip is already mentioned in the WhatsApp group. And also it's announced in the YouTube channel. So whoever is interested, please subscribe for it. This trip is organized by meditators. They formed a company, Asian Tours and Travels. So they have taken few trips before. So I'm sure they will take a good care of it. So our job is to just go and enjoy. Again, connecting to the death process, we have certain resources. Some people, they have this mindset. They find difficulty spending money. They have lots of property. They have lots of money, but they don't want to spend the money. They want to keep accumulating. And you're not going to take the money once you vacate the body. And you don't know when the death will come. So instead of accumulating the property and the wealth and the money, whatever the money you need, you keep. And the money which is in excess, whatever the money you have in excess, after you take care of all your needs, I'm mentioning again, after you take care of your needs, the excess money, you should use it for your experiences. Money is not to be accumulated. Money is there for experiences. When you donate money for a good cause, it is a grand experience. You feel the joy of service. That is an experience your soul carries. Or you are traveling around the world and you are meeting certain cultures. You are getting to understand certain cultures. You are visiting nature. You are visiting sacred spots. Right? So that gives you an experience. Money you cannot take. When you vacate the body, you cannot take money. You cannot take relationships. You cannot take anything when you vacate. But the beautiful moments you lived, those things you can take. Your experiences you can take. The happy moments, the blissful moments, the moments of friendship, the moments of learning, the aha moments, those things, the 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 practical wisdom you gained from your own experience of life, that you can take along with you, and that becomes part of you. Okay? Thank you very much. So whoever is interested for the Egypt trip, you please enroll. And if you say that no, Egypt is too expensive, I cannot come, at least come for the retreat. There is a paid retreat. It's very affordable. You are just paying for the rooms. And if you say, no, 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 I don't have that much money also, I cannot come for the retreat, at least come for the free retreats. Everything is absolutely free. You need to have the willpower to come. At least come for the free retreats. This experience will transform you, and this experience you can take it with you even after death, after the physical death. Okay. Thank you very much. Namaste to all.